John Taylor did so well for them, the other receiver, the second receiver. That's a heck of a play there by Mickey Washington. And what Dick Geron, the defensive coordinator, was saying about Mickey Washington, hey, I've never had a guy that prepares as hard and as well for a game as Mickey Washington does.
The handoff to Vardell. He's got some room to the left side and is tackled just inside the 35. It'll bring up a 3rd down and 3. Tommy Vardell, who William Floyd, of course, expected back perhaps at the middle of the season with that very serious knee injury in October of a year ago. Vardell himself coming off a knee injury that he sustained a couple of years ago in Cleveland.
And the 3 best teams in the NFC, San Francisco, Green Bay, and Dallas, do a great job with their fullback and their tight ends. Their fullbacks and tight ends catch a lot of passes and put pressure on defenses.
Anthony Lynn comes in on 3rd and 4. That's Vardell in motion, and Young will throw. Caught, but short of the 1st down at the 33-yard line. Kevin Hardy, number 54, number 1 draft pick, made the tackle. Big man, 6'4", 247.
And Kevin Hardy, the number 2 pick in the entire draft, is Kevin Hardy, number 54, and he's going to be out here on the outside. And this is a guy that they're going to ask to do a lot of different things, including rush the passer, play coverage, and play over the top as well.
Chat with players about him, and the thing you hear over and over is work ethic and consistency and health. On 3rd down, Young into the flat. Vardell caught and dropped. Eddie Robinson, number 50. Came over as an unrestricted free agent from Houston, and it'll be 4th down. Now, field goal kicking last week in the overtime win against San Diego was an adventure.
Oh. Well, they missed 4 straight kicks at one point before Wilkins finally won it.
Jeff Wilkins, and the snapper tonight is a problem. Either Fiore or Pollock will be in there. This is Fiore. Thompson will hold. Snap is high. And the field goal is good. So after the fumble recovery forced by the Roy Barker sack, 49ers on the board. 3:43 remaining in the opening quarter.
You could do that, right?
Yeah. I've got a vision of that. I'm still learning the words to YMCA.
I'll work with you.
Wilkins will kick off. Randy Jordan, number 23, for the 2nd time out to the 20-yard line. And the Jacksonville offense now finding themselves down by 3 comes on the field. We'll take a timeout, be right back. 49ers lead at 3-0 on a short field goal from Wilkins. And now Mark Brunell, whose fumble after the sack helped set up that field goal, has his team back in the offensive huddle. Keenan McCardle, another free agent acquisition, is in at the wide receiver spot, number 87. And Jimmy Smith, number 82, is also in. Again, Tony Boselli injured on the first series. Probably will not be back. Sprained ankle. And Novak and Coleman occupy the left side of the offensive line. Brian DeMarco and Leon Searcy on the right side. Hand off is to James Stewart. Gets about a yard. Talk a lot about potential, Pat, but potentially this is an excellent offensive line.
Yeah, when you have Boselli in there, we mentioned his ankle. This is the largest offensive line in the National Football League, both in terms of height and size. And Tom Coughlin is pretty excited about what can happen here. You add Leon Searcy, who comes over as a free agent from Pittsburgh at the right tackle, and I think he changes the entire complexion of the offensive line.
Certainly changes the tilt. Brunell chased on 2nd and 8. There's the threat. He's forced out of bounds at the 28-yard line, short of the 1st down. Well, how big are they, you ask?
I was just asking. Compared to the Cowboys, have always had the reputation of being very large, which indeed they are. Super Bowl 30, that's what you see, what they look. And with Boselli, they're 6'6", 320, and most of these guys are really good movement guys. That's Boselli, number 71. And it was his right ankle.
3rd and 3. 2.5 remaining in the opening quarter. Out of the shotgun, Brunell with time across the middle, caught by McCardle. And they've got the first down at the 45-yard line. Yeah, nice pass.
And that's a good hands catch by Keenan McCardle, too. You're right. He hung in the pocket this time, did Mark Brunell, and waited and waited and waited, and McCardle got the ball. Now here's some patience in the pocket. This time they push everybody right by him. You see he got everything in it. Marquez Pope makes a diving attempt, took a chance there. With Keenan McCardle, they have two guys who have led their respective teams receiving a year ago. He led Cleveland, and Willie Jackson led their own team a year ago.
McCardle had 56 for the Browns in 1995. Brunell, nobody there.
Except Merton Hanks.
And there's a flag to be thrown. Risen was held up, and we're going to have defensive holding or pass interference. Let's take a look at the Nicotrol scoreboard while we have a chance. One game this afternoon, New England bounced Philly.
On the defense, number 22. Automatic first down. Correction, number 23.
Or 24. Marquez Pope.
Well, he may get some of those because Marquez Pope, number 23, plays this position at corner very, very physically. Just kind of like a forearm shot. And again, 5 yards down the field, you're not allowed to do that. And Andre Rison, very well aware of the rules, made the call.
First down and 10, 3-0. Brunell, draw play. James Stewart has some room. First down, Jacksonville at the 34 of San Francisco.
Yeah, if you can get a good mix between run and pass and you have some success, then you really got a drive going. And that's what the Jacksonville Jaguars have going here right now. They got some scrambles. They've had the pass. They have also had a penalty or two. Good block on the right side by Wydell, the center. Good block downfield, too, by McCardle. When your wide receivers block, those little gains, the 5-yard gains turn into 10 and 15-yard gains.
And a 16-yard gain on that play. First down, 10. They'll test the middle. A flag is down. This is Stewart again. Pete Mitchell, the tight end, in motion.
James Stewart carries. Penalty flag.
As we're near the final minute.
There's a guy, Merton Hanks, that has and does turn games around.
And the motion call against Jacksonville. Merton Hanks, first team All-Pro a year ago, in the Pro Bowl the last 2 years.
And a Jacksonville injury.
Illegal formation on the offensive team. There was an ineligible player, 62, on the end of the line. That penalty is refused. Second down.
Boy.
Now it's Jeff Novak.
Man, running out of left tackles.
Well, Novak is down. Boselli's already on the bench. Time has been called. We'll be right back. 49ers lead it by 3. We began the evening talking about injuries for the offensive line of San Francisco, but the Jacksonville Jaguars have them now. Be with us Sunday, September 1st, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Pat and I will be at Giants Stadium, and the Buffalo Bills will be there as well. That's a nice way to kick off the season.
The Bills are going to be a very good football team. They have depth on offense and on defense. Some great free agent acquisitions.
On second down now, here's Brunell. Looking to his left all the way, and the pass is incomplete. Now let's update you on what has happened in the offensive line. Ben Coleman, who started the day at left guard, has moved out to the tackle. He becomes the third left tackle tonight, and Greg Huntington, a third-team center, moves in at the left guard spot.
You know, it's hard to believe you're still in the first quarter and you've got your third left tackle playing. And, you know, you're basically 2 weeks away from the opening of the season.
And there is Jeff Novak on the medical card on the near side. On third down, screen pass. Stewart has some room. First down at the 15-yard line. Tim McDonald finally caught up with James Stewart.
Yeah, Leon Searcy, the addition at right tackle. We're talking about number 72. Clever little play. He just lets Roy Barker run himself right out of the play and then goes down and makes a block downfield. I mean, Leon Searcy is going to upgrade both their passing and their running game for this Jaguar team.
We've reached the end of the first quarter of play. The Jaguars threaten. They trail by 3. $73,000 have gathered here in this gorgeous facility by the banks of the St. Johns River in Jacksonville. First meeting ever between the 49ers and the Jacksonville Jaguars. 3-0 Jacksonville trails. But they've got a first down after that last 18-yard gain. Mark Brunell is 3 of 4 throwing the ball. And the audible being called by Brunell now. Dances left. In trouble. Chris Dolman got him. Number 56. Dolman, who came in with 2 sacks in preseason. A free agent acquisition and a wealthy one.
Yeah. One of both the other defensive end, Roy Barker, already has a sack and has caused a fumble tonight. And Pete Carroll thinks they're going to be better at both defensive end positions. This time it's Dolman's turn. Okay, good coverage there. That's where it started with. Dolman comes cleanly and then cleans him up on the sack. Or the tackle, I should say. But if they can get some pass rush out of Dolman and Roy Barker, they've got a real good tackles in Stubblefield, Young, and Junior Bryant.
Brunell, quick setup. Drills it incomplete. Just a tad too high for McCardle.
He knows it's just a tad too high. And sometimes there's bodies in the way, Vern. I mean, it looks like it's high. You got to find a way, get away, and find yourself a window to that receiver. Good arm strength. You see why the coaches like him. It looked like he may have mistimed the jump a little bit too, but he did find that lane. That was just a little bit high, too.
Yeah, typical quarterback. Blame the receiver. Of course.
Absolutely. You know, that's one thing Brunell, actually, Mark Brunell does not blame other players on his team. It is one of his many assets.
Blitz. 3rd down. Stewart jammed up immediately by Dennis Brown, number 96.
You know, that's a situation, that's a passing blitz, and yet they run right into the run. I mean, ordinarily, when you have a blitz against a run and you think it's going to pass, you have a chance to make a big play. They ran right into, and it's right in here where the play is being made. Again, these tackles, that time it's Dennis Brown, number 96, who makes that play.
Excuse me, Pat.
He gets some real depth with Brown and Young and Stubblefield and Junior Bryant.
Mike Hollis missed 3 in a row before hitting a 59-yarder last week. That's right, a 59-yarder. Yeah. This one's 31. To tie it. Got it. Flag is down.
And that's Curtis Buckley running into the kicker there. Curtis Buckley, number 28 of the 49ers.
Okay, what is theorem number 1 in football? You don't take the points off the board, right?
That's exactly right.
Okay, let's see if they do.
Well, it's preseason game. The theorems don't apply in preseason games. You know that.
In my life.
Roughing the kicker, half the distance to the goal, automatic first down.
Whoa!
See, that's what you do. You see, theorems don't matter. Theorems don't matter. But Curtis Buckley is a guy that they believe can really make a difference on this team. And he deserved a flag on that one. He could have hurt Mike Hollis.
Well, Tom Coughlin has taken the points off the board.
Yeah, but Curtis Buckley came here with George Stewart, the special teams coach, and said, hey, we have to find a position for this guy to play, not just on special teams, but maybe on defense as well. Jaguars need a win this preseason too, Vern. You know, they have not won. And a win over San Francisco, we talked about them being a measuring stick.
Here's the test up the middle to Stewart inside the 5 near the 3-yard line. Yes, the Jaguars have lost back-to-back weeks. First to the New York Giants by 7, and then last week to the St. Louis Rams by 7.
Tom Coughlin kind of trying to lighten up a little bit this year, as a lot of his team have noticed it. I mean, he kind of carries around in his pocket a list of the 5 top Irish pubs in New York City. Actually shared that with me the other day. He's only visited one.
Well, as a proud Irishman, I see that was the first thing you asked to see. Forget about offensive game plans.
One of them was named Kennedy's, of course.
Into the corner, fade pattern. Caught, touchdown. Rison over Marcus Pope.
Now, Andre Rison is only 6'1", but he gives you a big strike zone. And he gives you a big strike zone because he's athletic, Vern. Marcus Pope is a physical corner. And generally, Marcus Pope is going to win those battles. But Andre Rison, with his strength and his strong hands in particular, steals it away for the touch.
And we're going to have an instant replay challenge here.
Well, that's what it's about. And I think, again, the end zone plays, the boundary plays in the end zone can be challenged.
George Seifert threw the flag.
The end zone. We'll review the play.
All right. Good for George. That's what this test is all about.
Had one overturned this afternoon in the New England-Philadelphia game. So this is the third game we've done in which instant replay has been used, this experiment preseason. So they'll wheel the cart out.
Well, here's one look at the fade route to Rice. Now, he set it up. He looked like it was going to be like a little slant, and then he goes outside. 1 foot's in, and looked like the second foot was in. Was it completely down? Was the second foot completely down? There's one. Sideline dot in the I. I think that's good. I think that's a catch. And one more. One dot in the I. There we go. Touchdown.
Touchdown. Didn't take us long to decide it.
Well, and the idea is to give Larry Nemmers, the referee who has control of the game, this call rather than somebody up in the booth. If you're going to do replays, Vern, I think you give the referee the control. I think this is the right way to do it.
Now, they have control of their own replays. They are replays which are provided by TNT. And here's Larry Nemmers.
After review, the play is a touchdown.
Thank you, Larry.
As called on the field.
There you go.
George is kind of smiling.
So is Andre.
Andre is as well. See, it's been so long since they had instant replay, Larry Nemmers forgot the proper language. It's upon further review.
Yeah, there you go.
Nice pass. Andre Rison, the free agent acquisition, whose productivity fell off last season in Cleveland. And he was released by the Browns, or the Ravens knee Browns, back on July 9th.
The team that used to be called the Browns, like Prince, I guess.
Yeah, the erstwhile Browns. Andre Rison's touchdown catch has given Jacksonville a 7-3 lead.
Have you noticed every wide receiver who plays against San Francisco always seems to want to raise their level of play because of Jerry Rice's presence? And Andre Rice is trying to rehabilitate himself.
Taken by Reynard Rutherford, number 25. Flags on the far side of the field away from the contact. 2 of them came down.
Yeah, there's always a lot of flags in the preseason on special teams and early in the year because it's the hardest part of your game to practice with a bunch of guys who generally aren't going to make your team.
Holding on the receiving team during the return. Half the distance to the goal line. First down.
Well, they'll mark off the penalty back inside the 15-yard line, and we'll take timeout. Back to Jacksonville in a moment. A couple of years back, September 5th, 1994, the familiar figure of Jerry Rice going deep, catching a touchdown. This one happened to be historic, number 127 in his illustrious career, and he just continues to roll on and extending a series of records. Here's Young, almost intercepted by Davis, Travis Davis.
And his career has been remarkable, and now in his 12th year, he has not slowed down at all. But look at the difference between the distance between Jerry Rice and the second active in all these categories. Receptions, Ellard's number 2 there. Ellard's also in reception yards. TD receptions, Andre Reed, over 100 more. in 1,000+ seasons. I mean, I think when you compare him to his contemporaries, the guy's still playing, it's remarkable, the distance between number 1 and number 2.
Play action, Young, deep left side for Rice. Out of bounds.
And that was against Mickey Washington, who we caught preparing for him a few days ago and said he had never played against him but had incredible respect for him.
I know you and I have chatted about this for the last couple of weeks, knowing that we were going to have Jerry Rice in this game. When did you first begin to feel that he occupied this very special spot, best player ever?
I think about a couple of years ago, I really started to feel that. But then last year, under really some tough circumstances, they didn't have another receiver. There was number 2 receiver when he set the record for 1,800 yards and had 122 receptions. I think that really sealed it for me.
Here's Young, chased by Hardy. Little flutter ball, but it's caught by Vardell. That'll be short of the first down, as Brian Schwartz, number 58, makes the tackle.
Vern, obviously this is subject to a great deal of debate, and it is very much a subjective opinion. There's been some great players, but I think you can make one for Jerry Rice as being the best of all time. There is Schwartz, who had a very good rookie season last year for the Jaguars and covers a lot of ground. You don't see a lot of middle linebackers, guys who wear 58 on their jersey, getting across the field as quickly as Brian Schwartz does.
Donnie Thompson, in his second year as the 49er punter, is on to make the punt. And Chris Hudson, last year's third-round draft pick. And a flag has been thrown. Game clock wound down. This will be a 5-yard penalty against the 49ers.
5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
Well, there's George Stewart, who's come in to try to revive the special teams of the 49ers. They have the 5 championships, but to me, special teams has almost been like an afterthought. They have not been a great special teams organization even during those championship years.
Have they cared as an organization about them?
Well, I think they've cared about them. They just haven't put as much emphasis on them as they have on offense and defense.
Pressure coming, blocked. Second week in a row that the 49ers have had a punt blocked. I don't think there was anything wrong with that snap.
And a former 49er, Dana Hall, number 28, had something to do with it. Just talking about their special teams, and it came right up the middle. Pretty good snap, and he comes cleanly. I think that's Dana Hall, former number 1 draft pick of the 49ers. And again, special teams and the running game continue to be a problem for the 49ers.
Dana Hall, a former number 1 draft pick of the 49ers who had a less than stellar career out west. Boy, how he must feel right now.
And here's where you'd love to see Mark Brunell give Andre Rison another chance. Try to blow it open right now for them. I mean, they need another big play right here.
McCardle and Rison to the left. It's Natron Means, number 20. Now here's what he did. He rumbled.
You love that, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, Natron Means is a guy, I think, an unusual back.
You can only use it for certain guys.
I can see that. Yeah, you did. Jerome Bettis is another one,
yeah,
right?
They rumble.
Well, he's a little bit like Jerome Bettis, and both unusual in that he can give you power on one play and finesse on the next. I mean, he'll run over you, and then he'll fake you out.
Ironhead comes to mind.
Ironhead is another one. You're on tonight.
Oh.
Good. It's only the 3rd week of the preseason. Proud of you.
Means cut back, and that's what he can do so well, Pat. He's really got the quick feet.
Yeah, for a guy 240 pounds, he's built like a fire hydrant with quick feet. I mean, he gives you power on one play and finesse on the next. One time you get too much of them, the next time you don't get enough of them. And that's the kind of rhythm that he creates for this offense.
That's true of a lot of things in life.
Name 10, please. I dare you.
10:14 to go in the opening half of play. 3rd and 2.
And here you have to worry about Mark Brunell running the ball here too.
Draw play means nothing there. They have to settle for the field goal.
Well, I don't know. Again in preseason, I want to give it a chance. Although Tom Coughlin, I think, really feels that his team needs to come out of this preseason and hopefully this game with a win. We talk about the 49ers being a measuring stick, a franchise that you like to compare yourself with. And even though this is a preseason game, 73,000 people showed up to watch not just their Jaguars, but that franchise that you measure your team against, the 49ers.
Mike Hollis, whose job is, I think, safe to say, anything but secure, despite that 59-yarder he authored last week. Yeah, that one, the hold was a little tenuous, or the snap was. The hold was pretty good from Barker. Barker did a good job of grabbing it and getting it down, and it just does shave the right upright. Brian Barker. Yeah, he did a nice job.
The most thankless job in football is being a holder. You don't get any credit, but you get an awful lot of blame. And that's a heck of a hold there by Brian Barker.
I'm sure Bob McKittrick, the offensive line coach, as well as George Seifert, breathed a little easier with Ray Brown walked off by himself. So possibly a cramp.
I think they're ringing down to our Mark May and see if he's available for the second half.
Right. Frank Pollock has moved out to left tackle for the 49ers on second down. Fiore's in the lineup as well. Here's Young, and he got some pressure from Don Davey and Joel Smengi.
And the ball got tipped, I think, Vern. And Davey, a small, kind of assignment-conscious defensive tackle who gets a lot of penetration, comes in on some passing downs, got upfield there, and was basically fooled by the play, but got his hand up and knocked the ball away.
That'll bring up 3rd and 10, and Ray Brown is back in the lineup now for the 49ers. Don Davey. Terrell Owens has come in, number 15, the 3rd-round draft pick, who has really caused some excitement in the 49er camp. Left side. Caught by J.J. Stokes. First down inside the 10 at the 8-yard line.
Good football teams do at least 3 things. They win on the road, they convert 3rd downs like the 49ers did just there, and they play great in the 4th quarter. Stokes is down the bottom of the screen, number 83. And they need a big year from him as the other receiver. You know, if he can have a big year as the other receiver, you don't worry as much about the running game, Vern. But if you get Stokes going, and you get Jerry Rice, of course, going, and then you can add Terrell Owens, the rookie, you've got 3 pretty good players there.
Gain of 13, 1st and goal at the 9. Young, incomplete at the 4-yard line. Jerry Rice.
The other thing about Jerry Rice, too, Vern, is he's caught so many of these balls, these little passes over the middle, right where all linebackers and safeties are. I mean, that's Eddie Robinson, a linebacker. I mean, he's not one of those guys, receivers, that just plays on the perimeter. I mean, how many slants has he caught over the middle and taken the pounding?
2nd and goal from the 9. 5:44 to go, first half. Audible from Young. Stunts by the Jacksonville defense. Force Young to the left. Puts it up in the end zone. Almost picked off. Incomplete. Good coverage from Mickey Washington on J.J. Stokes. And Davis was there as well.
Yeah, that was very good coverage by Mickey Washington. You met with him yesterday. He's focused. He was preparing. He has watched a bunch of tape. He visualizes the game before it takes place. And when you do that, a lot of good things happen, because it seems like you've already been there, Vern. But it started with good coverage, then the rush, and then Mickey Washington finishes it up.
This time defending against J.J. Stokes, but he also said he was really excited, Washington, because this is the first time he's gotten to play against Jerry Rice. In his 6th year in the league, flags are down, dead ball foul. Tony Brackens may have jumped.
Well, you know, again, following the theme on Jerry Rice, I mean, all receivers and all defensive backs, I think, measured their own performance by that man, number 80. Their new uniforms this year, celebrating their 50th anniversary. Kind of busy, don't you think? A lot of stuff going on there.
Start. 65 offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
That's Ray Brown. Tim McDonald, after they debuted the uniforms at home at that park that used to be called Candlestick, he called the uniforms cute.
Yeah. Well, remember, they had the throwbacks last year, which they were, I guess, undefeated in the throwbacks.
Yeah.
Not sure the year before. The throwback uniforms they loved. Yeah, year before.
3rd and goal from the 14. Cute.
It's not what you want.
No. Coming. Fumble. 49ers get it.
Yeah, this has been a big first half for the Jaguars at a couple of fronts. On offense, they were managed to score 10 points against the #1 rated defense a year ago. But defensively, they're putting pressure on Steve Young. And most importantly, Vern, it's coming from the middle. When you have a scrambling and a running quarterback, if you close down the running lanes, you don't have a chance. And once again, it was number 90, Tony Brackens, coming off the right side, number 90. I mean, it puts fear in an offensive tackle's heart to have a speed rusher lined up outside, and that's what Tony Brackens is.
Here's Jeff Wilkins, bad snap.
Boy.
And Thompson throws it incomplete.
Boy.
Washington was there, flags are down. Again.
This has been ugly special teams.
Yeah.
Ugly. Like trying to kill a snake.
That was, excuse me, Frank Pollock was snapping that one. There's George Stewart.
Again, very, very hard to kind of put together special teams in this preseason. But most of it's been on the snaps.
Spot foul. Since the penalty occurred more than 10 yards behind the line of scrimmage, it'll be first down.
Frank Pollock was the center on that one.
Yeah. Pollock, it was kind of a curveball. It was getting away from the holder. Really didn't have a chance. So the 49ers, a lot of the problems have really come on the snaps. Now, the real snapper is a guy named Randy Kirk, who got injured the first preseason game, unable to play just yet, and they're going to have to welcome him back very quickly.
I thought Garo Upremian was out there for a moment. Take me back a few years.
He did a better spiral on it than that.
Yeah. So on first down, here's Brunell. He wants it all on the first play. Tussle way downfield. Andre Rison says, what? Well, he's grinning about it.
He brings a lot of potential for big plays to this Jaguar offense, and boy, do they need it. They did not have many passes over 30 yards a year ago. And it's very hard to be methodical in the NFL these days. Now, you see him wearing number 81. He actually, you see the big plays? He only had 12 passes over 30 yards to rank 26th in the league.
Second down and 10. Pete Mitchell in motion. Brunell will throw. Here comes the blitz. McDonald. Means has it. Natron Means out to the 45-yard line. He picked up 9. It'll be 3rd and 1. Kevin Gilbride. Interesting story about his senior year at Southern Connecticut, Pat.
Yeah, he was third. There were 13 seniors, 12 others other than himself. 11 of those 13 went into coaching, which he attributed to his college coach, Harry Shea.
3rd and 1. Means at right guard, and that one is pushed backwards. Yes, indeed.
There's Ken Norton and Kevin Mitchell and Chris Dolman. There's a whole bunch of white jerseys in there. New white jerseys in there.
Cute white jerseys.
Yeah. And again, these tackles, there's a double team on the tackle there. I think it was Bryant Young, but he sucked up a bunch of blocks, and Dolman came in and made the play and stops him short of the first down. So Chris Dolman is more than just a pass rusher. He has a reputation of just being that, but he can play the run as he did right there on a short yardage play.
4th and a foot, and Barker is on to punt. Ed Brady will snap it back. It's a good one. The punt is not. Off the side of the foot, and it goes out of bounds. Well, is there a more imprecise measurement in all of sport than where the punt goes out of bounds?
Well, you know, he and the referee lined that up. The back judge and the referee kind of lined that up. That's Bill Lovett.
Larry
But
Nevers.
you're right. But it looks like they kind of keep running up the sideline till they finally get the right spot.
29-yard punt.
Well, with 3:11 here left in this first half, the 49ers have not looked particularly good on offense thus far. Or the Jaguars have looked good on defense, depending upon how you want to look at it. And opening the season, a couple weeks away, this is a time where you want to get your offensive team in rhythm to get ready for September 1st.
And we've got 3:11 to go in preseason week 3. Into the flat, caught, and out of bounds.
Offensive coordinator Mark Trestman. This is Mark there. And, you know, he was a little disturbed when Bill Walsh was named as the administrative assistant. It came 2 weeks after the Green Bay game. But felt like he said, I felt like I was walking on eggshells. And I got it was really a slap in my face. But he said, now I feel pretty good about it. I feel I've got a terrific resource that I can use. And he watches tapes of Bill Walsh actually from years ago when Walsh installed the offense.
Walsh, the official title, I guess, is administrative assistant to the coaching staff.
There you go.
Second down. Here's Young. That one was caught by Vardell. That'll be good for the first down at the 37-yard line.
And just to finish off that story, Bill Walsh is not here tonight. Ordinarily, he is here and in the press box, and he will talk with Mark Trestman at halftime, right before halftime, but he did not make this trip.
At their own 38-yard line.
Said that was a decision Walsh made at the last minute. Again, proving the wisdom of the ages. Since they got here at 11:30 last night, they're going home after the game. Young. Oh, dropped. Terrell Owens, number 15.
This is the guy they've been raving about. Terrell Owens, number 15, who will soon inherit a jersey in the 80s. He's got incredible size, a lot like Rice and a lot like J.J. Stokes at 6'2", 215 pounds. Clearly dropped that one, 213 pounds. But what they really like about Owens is his ability to do something with the ball after he makes those little dinky little catches, those 5-yard catches.
Some confusion about how he pronounced his first name, so it was cleared up for us. It is Terrell, not Terrell, at least this week. Things change. Here's Young. Vardell. Tackled from behind by Brian Schwartz at the 45-yard line. And we have reached the 2-minute warning. Jacksonville Jaguars on an Andre Rison touchdown catch have a lead of 7. Steve Young and the 49ers on 3rd and 1 at the 2-minute warning, and they're trailing by 7. And coming up Sunday night, September 1st at 8 o'clock, Matt and I will be at Giant Stadium as we open our portion of the season on TNT. The Buffalo Bills taking on the New York Giants. Buffalo, one of the favorites among those in the AFC, thought to be considered for the Super Bowl. That's a grammatically imprecise statement. I don't know where I was going with that. You're supposed to help me.
And Steve Tasker now a full-time offensive player. It's going to be strange not seeing him on special teams.
3rd and 1. Young into the flat, caught by Terrell Owens. First down and more. There's what you were talking about.
The and more is the part they really like. What he does with the ball after the catch. Again, even Jerry Rice thinks he looks a little bit like Jerry Rice because of his size, and then what happens here. With Rice, the adventure always starts after the catch, turns into a running back, and Terrell Owens is going to be a pretty exciting receiver. Could have probably gotten out of bounds there, though.
Terrell Owens, 3rd round draft pick out of Tennessee, Chattanooga. Well, Thompson and Wilkins.
I think it's a snapping part. That's the problem.
It hadn't been the kicking, been the snapping. 1st and 10. Young into the flat. And the ball caught and down at the 30-yard line. Nate Singleton makes his first grab tonight, number 88.
Brought down by Eddie Robinson.
Eddie Robinson with the tackle. It's 2nd down. 4-man rush, not much pressure. And that's going to be good, I believe, for the first down. Yes, at the 26-yard line. Anthony Lynn, number 29, makes the tackle, and the 49ers call timeout.
That's their second team timeout. It'll be a 30-second timeout.
That leaves them with 1.
Well, Jerry Rice has a bunch of records that he's still playing, obviously, at a very, very high level. Still the best in his 12th year. He's got a lot of records in progress. And some additional ones he can break this year. And see 58 receptions he needs for 1,000. 877 yards to get to the 16,000 barrier. 150 touchdown receptions. It's incredible. Here's the two that he can break. He just needs two 200-yard games to become the all-time 200-yard reception leader. Lance Allworth holds that. And a catch in 22 straight games to become the all-time leader. That record now held by Art Monk. So he's set 11 current records, a whole bunch of Super Bowl records, and he's going to break some more this year.
First down and 10. Rice rests. Bracken's coming on the rush. Here's Steve Young. And he'll take it all the way down to the 5-yard line.
Preseason, you got to get down there.
Eddie Robinson and Steve Young mixing it up, and Steve Young wants to down the ball. One timeout left, but he's going to kill the clock by spiking the football. No, he's not. I thought he was. Well, that cagey old veteran, how about that?
That's why.
He faked the spike.
Remember Dan Marino did that a couple of years ago and threw a touchdown pass. It was a play actually put in their offense by Bernie Kosar.
Mormons are taught not to be deceptive.
But again, what you're seeing is the strength of Steve Young. The play before set it up. The one thing I think in preseason games you'd love to see him just get down. But you see, there wasn't the inside push that time, a big opening running lane for him.
Ouch. And Eddie Robinson and Young. Now he simulated a spike as he got his teammates up to the line of scrimmage. And then this.
And then this is right. And again, once again, the strength. The play before was the speed of Steve Young in his 12th season. Still has the speed. And now the strength. Fights through a defensive end and then a linebacker and gets the ball into the end zone. Those are two great runs there by Steve Young back to back. And this is why he is so hard to defend, and this team is so good inside the 20, because you have Jerry Rice inside the 20 and you have a quarterback who can run like a fullback.
And in the meantime, there are two members of the Jacksonville Jaguars who are down. Joel Smengi already up and has walked off without assistance. And Dana Hall, who was nicked a moment ago,
he blocked the punt.
Second.
Remember, he blocked the punt, Dana Hall, former 49er. I mean, it's so hard to overcommit against Steve Young. He just kind of slipped and got hit by Smengi. Those are both the guys that got hurt on that play. You know, defensive backs, you have to lay back, cover your guys. Next thing you know, you have to come up and carry tackle him, and he really does run like a fullback.
Jeff Wilkins for the extra point, but this is not automatic. This time the snap is good. The kick is as well. Out of the Tommy Thompson hold, and we are tied at 10-10.
In the first half, San Francisco 10, the Jaguars 10.
Now, Steve Young, we might see him a little bit in the second half.
I think so. But look at the NFL quarterback, Steve Young. He has averaged 8.0 yards per pass attempt. That's not completion per attempt. And rushes, 6.0, that includes sacks. I mean, those numbers are absolutely remarkable. You see where Marino, Kelly Moon, and Elway rank. But you think that's a per pass attempt, 8 yards, and per rushing attempt, 6 yards, which includes sack. You'd have to say he's the most versatile player in the league, Vern.
And his touchdown run of 4 yards on top of the scramble for the first and goal has given the 49ers a tie.
Okay, they're going to go after Mark May. Mark May, our guy who's hosting our halftime. They're going to need him to play tackle in this second half.
I saw him before the game. I think he's ready.
I think he is too.
I think he's ready.
He looks like he can still play.
Hey, May is complaining to us about how warm it was going to be here. He and Vince Cellini down there in that air-conditioned studio. Huh? They'll be along at the half. Wilkins. Randy Jordan, number 23. Out to the 25-yard line, so Brunell and company will have 49 seconds left before the halftime break.
And 2 timeouts. Remember, Mark Brunell is a young quarterback. This is his 4th year. And this is the first time he comes into training camp as a starting quarterback. This is an opportunity for him to really make something happen in these last 49 seconds. There's plenty of time with those 2 timeouts to get his team certainly in field goal range.
Jimmy Smith and Keenan McCardle.
I got you. Will.
First down and 10. Shotgun, here's Brunell. Left side, oh! Picked off! Intercepted by James Williams, his second pass interception of preseason.
Just when you think Mark Brunell has a chance to get something going, Pete Carroll's defense, #1 scoring defense a year ago, makes something good happen. He threw the ball a little bit late because his timing was messed up because of coverage. And I tell you, James Williams, I think, baited him. Just laid back. He was trying to get the ball to Andre Rison. Laid back. See how he's got his eyes on the quarterback the whole way? And he's not even looking at Rison. He's reading the quarterback the entire way, and then the drive. I mean, that's a heck of a play there by James Williams.
Longtime starter for the Buffalo Bills and the second interception of preseason. And Camp Coughlin may come back quickly after that kind of a mistake. So the 49ers now with a chance to take the lead. Here comes Lageman. And Jeff Lageman, whoops, and Steve Young mix it up.
Well, yeah, Lageman got a hit on Steve Young, and one of his offensive linemen came over there to give him a hand and some help. That's what happened. One of his offensive linemen was trying to protect him. I think it was Harris Barton. Didn't appreciate Lageman hitting Steve Young. It looked like a clean hit, I think, originally. But you know what? You love it when your offensive linemen come after guys, even if there is a penalty, to protect the quarterback. It shows you what you think of your quarterback. If your offensive linemen don't do that, you got some problems. Here's Lageman, number 56, getting pushed out of the way. That is a legal hit by Lageman, but Harris Barton doesn't believe it. As far as he's concerned, it's an illegal hit. And good offensive tackles always protect their quarterbacks.
Now this will be interesting to see how much the officiating crew saw of this. Barton hit Lageman from behind, and that, I think, produced a flag.
Once the quarterback gets outside of the pocket, the defensive end really has after the ball is released, has 2 steps to be able to knock him down. So it was a clean hit by Jeff Lageman. 56, bottom of the screen. Beats Ray Brown, who's now playing left tackle, a new position for him for the 49ers. And again, I think although it's a hard hit, it's a clean hit.
Now the Jacksonville crowd not in accordance with the early penalty indication.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Personal fouls. We have a personal foul on the offensive team for a late hit. We also have a personal foul on the defensive team for retaliation. The penalty's offset.
That answer, they just saw the end of it.
Yeah.
They saw the retaliation part.
Satisfying neither
or us.
Seifert, nor Coughlin, nor us. Yeah. So they get Barton for the initial late hit, then they get Lageman for the hands to the face after he was hit from behind. And it comes back to a 2nd down and 8 with 33 seconds to go before halftime. Young fakes the toss, flips it into the flat, and it is dropped by Sean Manuel, the rookie from New Mexico State.
Isn't Sean Manuel their last pick?
I think he's a policy pick.
Yeah, Carmen Policy pick. And Carmen Policy historically gets the last pick of the draft. Now he's had some good picks. You know, Elvis Grbac was one of his picks a while back. Yeah, Lee Woodall. There they are. Sam Manuel was this year. Herb Coleman made the team last year. Lee Woodall, Elvis Grbac. They hope they can keep him around.
30 seconds to go. 3rd down and 7. Here comes the rush again. This time, they get it in the hands of Vardell. He's got a first down at the 17-yard line.
A good play by Tommy Vardell because he found that opening to Steve Young. Knew exactly where the first down marker was, but with all the traffic in the quarterback's face, sometimes you can't see those receivers. But you had Tommy Vardell, who kind of moved around and found that opening so Steve Young could hit him and pick up the first.
Steve Young uses the last 49er timeout with 20 seconds remaining. Coors Light Pro Football Tonight preview comes your way right here on TNT next Sunday. They need an hour to get the whole title in. Vince Cellini will be your host. You get a preview of the upcoming season. You'll hear from Brett Favre of the Packers, the Dolphins head coach Jimmy Johnson, and much, much more. It's a 2-hour show for the Coors Light Pro Football Tonight preview. Sunday at 8 on TNT.
Well, Vern, Jerry Rice is not in the ballgame right now, but ordinarily this is his territory, and if Terrell Owens, number 15, is going to be like him, he's the kind of guy they want to give him a chance maybe to see what he can do down inside the 20.
He works on Robert Massey, top of the screen, runs a crossing pattern. Young into the corner for Terrell Owens, and it's overthrown and incomplete. 13 seconds to go. Robert Massey, pretty good coverage.
Yeah, once again, Robert Massey, number 40, pretty good coverage. He did it a couple of times on Jerry Rice, and this time on Owens. And the 49ers have been a very good red zone team, primarily because of the strength of their quarterback's arm and their wide receivers' strength and height and ability to adjust to the ball. And no one has done it better than that guy, Jerry Rice.
2nd and 10. With 13 seconds to go. Owens bottom of the screen this time. Young will run.
Get down. Or get out.
And he got out of bounds. Chased there by Kevin Hardy, number 54.
You know, it's funny as you watch Steve Young kind of run around here a little bit. You know, a lot of people in the Jacksonville franchise are trying to get Brunell to stop running around so much. I'm not sure that's what you want to do. I mean, look what he did a year ago, Brunell. 480 yards. You worry about their health, but every time you talk to a defensive coordinator, they always say, I hate playing against scrambling quarterbacks. You can't defend them. So maybe he has to temper it, but he certainly doesn't want to stop it.
Wilkins will try the field goal to break the tie. The adventures continue.
With a bad snap, Vern.
Frank Pollock.
Boy.
Well, a week ago, the 49ers had problems with the snap. High snap. This could have won the game. Oh, boy.
He kicked the holder's foot. Again, but it's in one poor snap after another. Well, we've seen 2 different snappers tonight. And again, the Tommy Thompson has to adjust, and they can't wait to get Randy Kirk back. And who comes in, all he's going to do is be their long snapper, Randy Kirk.
They may settle for a red snapper.
Oh, no. That's awful.
That's the first groaner of the night. There'll be more.
I'm looking forward to that, Vern.
There are very few promises in this earth. Groaners are one of them. George Stewart is wearing the look of a dissatisfied man. They fired Alan Lowry last year, the special teams coach, and hoped that George Stewart could turn things around. Well, injuries haven't helped him any. We've reached halftime, and we're tied 10-10.
The NFL on TNT is brought to you by Isuzu, makers of the Trooper, Rodeo, and the all-new Ombre pickup. Isuzu, equipment for real life. And by Napa Auto Parts. We keep America running.
Welcome back to the erstwhile Gator Bowl, the Jacksonville Municipal Stadium. Got a lot of erstwhiles tonight.
Yeah, you have.
We're tied at 10. Vern Lundquist, Pat Hayden, and the 49ers and the Jaguars meeting in preseason week number 3.
Is there a penalty for using erstwhile more than once in the first half?
But I only, well.
1.5 in, I guess, didn't you?
Delay of flight.
Please don't wish that on us.
Mike Hollis will kick off as we get set for the third quarter. Raynard Rutherford and Curtis Buckley are deep. Joel Smengi, by the way, suffered a concussion. Doubtful he'll return to tonight's game. This is Rutherford, number 25. Good special teams play, and gee whiz, Pat, another flag.
Yeah. And you watch the beginning of the year too, Vern. First 2 or 3 weeks there'll be a penalty on every kickoff. Because the special teams, when the games start, will be all new guys.
Holding. During the return, number 98. Half the distance from the end of the run. First down.
Well, Elvis Grbac is on at quarterback. 5 starts last season. The one-time 8th-round draft pick. Played brilliantly. He is in the last year of his contract. He becomes an unrestricted free agent at the end of the year. And Carmen Policy said, obviously, we want to take him, but I don't know how realistic that is. I really think Melanie Griffith is very attractive, but I don't think she's going out with me. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. I don't know about the second part, but the 49ers are one of the best organizations in football. My guess is they're going to find a way to keep Elvis Grbac in San Francisco. Now, remember, Steve Young waited 4 years, sometimes not so patiently, behind Joe Montana, and it turned out okay for him. And now he is in his 4th year. So, at some point, and Steve Young he's probably got a good 2, 3, 4 years left in him. Elvis Grbac is going to have a chance if he wants to be the 49ers quarterback.
Handoff. Stephen Pitts, number 32.
But you mentioned Grbac playing in those 5 games last year. Before last season, one of the big question marks about this franchise is, did they have somebody who could win? Not just come in and mop up, but could win if Steve Young went down. That was emphatically answered last year when he won against the Rams, the Cowboys, and the Dolphins. And you know, again, in Dolphins, he threw 4 touchdown passes. The Cowboys, he threw for over 300 yards. He answered all the questions last year.
3rd down conversion. 49ers are 6 of 10, but now make it 6 of 11 as the pass is incomplete out of the backfield, intended for Chris Thomas, number 89, and Travis Davis, number 45, who was there to knock it away. And that'll bring up 4th down.
Get ready.
Oh,
Get
boy.
ready for the snap here.
Okay, let's see if it's Pollock or Fiore who's in. It's Dave Fiore, number 49. Thompson waits for it. He's had 1 block tonight by Dana Hall. Good snap. Thompson gets rid of it. Fair catch called at the 40-yard line. Taken by Chris Hudson. And Mark Brunell and the Jacksonville Jaguars come out. John Fisher, number 29. He's an interesting story, Pat.
Yeah, he almost got there and ran past the punter last week in the Ram game. And Jaguars believe that John Fisher, number 29, is going to block a lot of punts this year. Blocked 5 in his college career at Missouri Western. He had an interesting college career. His first year as a running back. Then he played 2 years as a defensive back where he was all-league. Then his senior year became a running back again where he was all-league as a running back. And he's going to get some playing opportunities here.
6th-round draft pick. 1st down and 10. Brunell stays in for Jacksonville. Run or pass, he'll run it.
Like an old Statue of Liberty.
And let's see. Yes, there's the flag. Because he slid.
Yeah, feet first.
Feet first. So they'll tack on the personal foul. Bryant Young, number 97.
You know, sometimes the comparisons to great players can put undue pressure on people.
Personal foul. Roughing the quarterback after he gave himself up. 15 yards back down into the run. First down.
And Vern, it's kind of like, you know, when does that, when does the tadpole become a frog? You know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. And the comparisons between him and Steve Young.
What?
You know, aren't those little frogs tadpoles? Don't they evolve into frogs?
This is why I enjoy working with you.
Well, you think about it. The comparisons, he's always being compared to Steve Young, but you don't know whether he's going to get there, right? Tadpoles, actually, you know they're going to become frogs.
46!
I think.
If you're looking to me for help here, this is shortly shy of no chance. Brunell after the penalty. Oh, the blitz comes. Oh, did they get him? Chris Dolman
Yeah, that wasn't a blitz. It seemed like a
it
blitz.
looked like it, didn't it?
He got there so cleanly, did Chris Dolman. He is going to help this team in their pass rush. Number 56 with the long sleeves there. I mean, it's an inside stunt. Nobody picks him up. And again, when you have some new offensive linemen, and you do some games, you're going to come cleanly. And they were the worst. The Jaguars were the worst last year in giving up sacks.
And, of course, Boselli is out at left tackle, injured on the first pass play of the night. And Dolman gets another sack. McCardle in motion. Handoff. Stewart. He comes at right guard and loses a half a yard.
Well, look who may be injured there now. Getting up very, very slowly. Another offensive lineman for the Jaguars.
Brian Demarco was a little bit slow getting up. Demarco, who started 16 games at right tackle and moved into left tackle this year, right guard, I beg your pardon, because of the acquisition of Leon Searcy. He was a little bit upset with it at first.
Yeah, but now he feels that he may have found a home and he may perhaps be a dominant right guard.
Second round pick out of Michigan. Out of the shotgun. Incomplete. Little mix up on the route. Marquez Pope was there. Andre Rison was deep. Rison, who of course wears number 81, but that's not the number with which he is associated. He wears a tattoo of number 80 on his arm and wanted number 80 here, but that's owned by Willie Jackson, and I do mean owned. Negotiations are underway.
What's the offer on the table right now?
Well, the rumor we heard was $25,000
for that number, 80.
The going price for an 80. If I'm Willie Jackson, I hold out. Out of bounds at the 1.
Oh, yeah. It's kind of like when entertainers move to the neighborhood and they ruin the housing market. I think Andre Rison has ruined the jersey market. Put it out of reach of some other guys who want different numbers on this team.
Here's Willie Jackson.
Willie Jackson got marked out of bounds or pushed out of bounds. He was right on top of that one. The side judge was there, Howard Slavin. And that's a good spot by Howard.
Time called, tied at 10. Barker's punt out of bounds at the 1. Here's Grbac handing it off right side. And Chad Fan, number 43, gets the carry and moves it out near the 5-yard line. Second down and 6. 10-10 ball game. Third quarter, 11:05 remaining. Grbac with play action. Rolling to his right and being chased by Brackens again, and that one is heaved out of bounds and incomplete. It'll be third down. Tony Brackens, who was the second draft pick. The number 1 draft pick, of course, was Kevin Hardy, number 54. We were talking about numbers. Hardy wore number 51 in college. He wanted number 51 here. Mark Williams owns 51, and I do mean own.
Yes.
And Hardy, despite being a number 1 draft pick, said that the real-life negotiations of the National Football League were way beyond him. He was hoping for benevolence on Williams' part that he would give him number 51.
That's why I said Andre Rison has ruined the market.
Oh, yeah. Third down. In the end zone, pressure, throws it away, incomplete. It'll be fourth down.
It could be a safety.
They did not call intentional grounding, and they could have. There's Larry Nemmers. Lageman is arguing for it. Pritchett with the pressure. It'll be fourth down.
Okay. Pretty good inside push once again. It started with very good coverage, and then Pritchard finally comes off that block, and that could have been a pass interference, intentional grounding call. In the end zone, that's a safety.
Thompson back for the adventure. Oops. Gets it away.
Boy, oh boy.
Cleanly fielded. Hudson at the 50. Hudson at the 43.
I have to admit, Vern, I have never seen worse long snapping in a professional game in my life. I mean, there are a lot of grounders out there. Good catch for the shortstop.
This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Jacksonville Jaguars and the National Football League is prohibited.
73,000 on hand. It's a sellout here in preseason week number 3. The Jaguars looking for their first win. Back-to-back losses to the Giants and the St. Louis Rams. And the 49ers victors over San Diego in overtime last week and losers to Denver in week 1.
But neither offense has looked very good tonight, Vern. Defenses look pretty good, but the offense, both offenses have struggled.
1st and 10, Means out of the backfield wearing number 20. 4-man rush. Brunell goes deep down the middle, incomplete, contact incidental. No flag. Derek Brown, one-time #1 draft pick of the New York Giants, where he had a less than stellar 3 years. Injured reserve for Jacksonville a year ago.
Yeah, 11 catches in 3 years as a #1 draft pick, and he knows that he's had this tag potential his entire career as a professional, even in college at Notre Dame, and he understands that he's got to make it happen this year.
That's an incomplete pass at 10:31 in the 3rd quarter. 10-10 ball game. McCardle comes in motion. Rush coming up the middle. McCardle off his hands, incomplete, and Brunell popped pretty good by Bryant Young, number 97. If you were not with us at the outset of the ball game, Dana Stubblefield did not make the trip. Chose to stay back in the Bay Area pending the birth of a child.
Bill Walsh also did not make the trip. He just chose not to come.
Well, the exchange of information with the 49ers is sometimes a circuitous path. We, through investigative work of our own, discovered these things and passed them on to you. Oh, boy. Where's Stubblefield? Oh, he didn't make the trip. Here's Brunell. Out of bounds. Popped pretty good.
Yeah, the Tadpole's becoming the frog, isn't he now? Even the way he runs, he looks like Steve Young. I mean, they're both left-handed. They both wear number 8. They're both good runners. But remember those two really good. Now, this is one he had to run. This wasn't impatience in the pocket. Chris Dolman's had a big night as a pass rusher against a variety of tackles. But, boy, you sure would love to see him. You'd like to see Steve Young get down a little bit more, get out of bounds earlier.
Gain of 7, 4th and 2. And Tom Coughlin says, sure, let's go for it. 4th and 2. Brunell in trouble.
4th down, you got to get rid of the ball.
Well, we talked about the absence of sacks for this team defensively last year. They also gave up 57 sacks. That was the worst record by any of the 30 teams in the National Football League. Time now for the Isuzu Practically Amazing Play of the Day.
Two things here. Watch how Marquez Pope is inside here of the receiver. And watch all this. See all this room over here? It's an easy fade because he leaves the quarterback so much room to throw the ball. I mean, if you line up too wide, you can't drift away from the defensive back. But it was a good alignment there by Andre Rison. Nice touch by Brunell over the top. The result is a touchdown.
That gave Jacksonville a 10-3 lead. And then Steve Young's touchdown right before halftime tied it up at 10-10. Backs are split. Grbac is the quarterback. Throws it out for Chad Fan, number 43. Fumble. Loose ball picked up by the Jaguars.
Now think about that San Francisco game against Green Bay in the playoffs a year ago. 4 turnovers the 49ers had. One of the keys, obviously, to that football game.
That's the first turnover tonight for the 49ers.
No, Vern, I think the 49ers kind of found themselves in an unusual situation this offseason as we take a look at Chad Fan. And more guys stripping the ball carrier. And that helmet, yeah, it was just a helmet right there. McManus. And that's Brant Boyer with the recovery.
Rison goes top to the left on 1st and 10. Brunell. Catch is made at the 40-yard line by Lachey Maston, number 35.
Vern, we're just talking about, I was talking about the 49ers found themselves in an unusual situation because, not only did not get to the Super Bowl, I mean, they may be, or last year at least, the third best team in the NFC when you consider Green Bay and Dallas. So not only have to get them back on top, there's a couple of teams now they have to climb over. And you can't turn the ball over in the playoffs like they did right there. And it kind of starts now in the preseason getting an attitude about turning the ball over.
They fake the draw play. Brunell comes left, has a man open. It's Maston again. And Lachey Maston, interesting story. Young man played for a wonderful high school program in Dallas at Carter High School. And then went on to a fine career at Baylor. But he was a free agent in the National Football League. Caught on with Houston.
Yeah, and he caught on Houston as a linebacker. He was first a linebacker, and now you see he was a linebacker, now he's a blocker and a receiver for the Jaguars.
Wearing number 35, and that's a first down after a 15-yard gain. Quick setup this time. Brunell on the slant pattern. Rising at the 5.
The key thing in offensive football is making the defense, defend the entire 53-yard width and 100 yards in length. And in one play, you throw the ball out in the flat, then you come right back and throw the slant route and give your most dynamic receiver a chance to run with the ball after the catch. So that's a nice sequencing of plays. One ball in the flat, next ball in on a slant.
Oh, gosh. Jim Varney, I thought he had disappeared from my life. He's the guy who used to do those awful commercials. Here's Means down to the 1. Natron Means. 1,350 yards 2 years ago. A groin pull halfway through the season. Last season at San Diego on the heels of a contract squabble. And then surprisingly, I think, Pat, was released by the Chargers.
Yeah, there's a guy that could really help the San Francisco 49ers. But he said he is not angry. That's behind him now. And he's lost a lot of weight. He's in great shape. And he wants to really contribute to a team that's on the rise here in Jacksonville.
Ball at the 2. They hand it off. The surge on the right side in for the touchdown.
Good short yardage runners, and Natron Means is a good short yardage runner, Vern, can somehow twist their bodies, even their 240-pound bodies, and fit in small places. And that's just what happened to Natron Means there. There wasn't much of a hole, but he slithered through it.
That'll bring on Mike Hollis for the extra point, and Brian Barker will hold. Ed Brady will center it. Motion, no flags.
Bad snap again. It's been an adventure. But Natron Means follows 2 blocks. That of Brian Demarco, number 73, is right guard, and then the lead block of Lachey Maston and squiggles into the end zone.
7:25 remaining third quarter. Natron Means 1-yard plunge for the touchdown. I like the metaphors you're using tonight. We've had tadpoles turning into frogs.
There you go.
And in that one drive, we got a slithered and a squiggle.
And I'm getting ready for September 1st.
How's your thesaurus? Worn out?
Dog-eared.
Reynard Rutherford. Big collision at the 12. And here's tonight's GMC leaderboard. George Seifert has carved out a wonderful record at San Francisco. How about fastest coaches to 100 wins? If George wins 5 out of the first 11 games, he will become the all-time fastest coach in the NFL to 100 victories.
Just because the expectations are so high in San Francisco, he has never gotten the respect that he has deserved. And this man is a very, very good coach. He was a great defensive coordinator and has been a great head coach. He's won 2 championships.
Into the flat left side. That one is caught. And Grbac is down.
Oh,
nope, there's another player down.
Another
It's
tackle.
Pollock.
Another tackle down.
Mike
My
Caldwell
goodness.
made the catch. Excuse me, Pat.
My goodness. I mean, George Seifert saw Kirk Scrafford, his left tackle, go down last week, a guy they were really dependent upon. And then Frank Pollock gets hurt here. Ray Brown was out for a while also. I mean, they've opened up, 4 cans of left tackles. Paul Fraze, number 91. There's a lot of big bodies falling around. I mean, Grbac could have gotten twisted up and hurt an ankle as well. I'm really amazed more guys don't get hurt in these pileups. I mean, there's so many, not necessarily the big collisions, but the guys just falling on top of one another. It happened to Emmitt Smith last night.
By the way, I'm sure you heard Vince and Mark talking about that at halftime. Partial tear, may be out for 2 to 4 weeks. First down and 10. Pollock limps off, and this is a dead ball foul.
I want to tell you, Vern, there's going to be a bunch of guys cut next week, but not a lot of good left tackles that you're going to be able to pick up off the waiver wire.
False start, 49 offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Dave Fiore, the free agent from Tufts, who's trying to make this ball club. He started out as a tackle, then moved to tight end, and they've obviously employed him as a punt snapper and field goal snapper. Now pressed into service as a tight end or as a tackle again. 10 49er penalties tonight. First and 15. Grbac has his back split. Another dead ball foul. Bring it back. Well, this one's getting hit by an ugly stick.
Man, it is. They're trying to kill a snake in a phone booth.
False start, 81 offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
A lot of penalties going on here, but one guy for the Jaguars has had a very good evening. Is their number 2 draft pick, Tony Brackens. Number 9. Here's a couple of. He forces a fumble there. He's number 90 for the Jaguars. Chases Young out of the pocket, gets the sack there. And then this time he stuffs the run. So they were raving about Tony Brackens this week, Vern, and he is delivered tonight.
First down and 20 after the back-to-back penalties. Grbac, right side, incomplete. Mike Caldwell had it in his mitts and dropped it.
Yeah, although the 49ers have not looked very good tonight, particularly on offense, this is a really important game for the Jaguars to win. I mean, Coach Seifert wants his team to look good and polished and all those things, and they haven't. But for Tom Coughlin, he needs a win, and we've talked about it being kind of a measuring stick game. You win at home, and you win against the 49ers, and you start feeling better about yourselves.
Second down and 20. 17-10. Jaguars lead it by a touchdown. Inside rush. Grbac forced to the right. Pulls up. It's tipped. Dave Thomas, number 41, and a flag is down at the 16-yard line. Thomas with the tip for Jacksonville.
Elvis Grbac pass. Intended for number 89, Chris Thomas.
Well, further problems for George Seifert. A word from the bench. Ankle sprain for Frank Pollock. His return is doubtful. Here's Larry Nemmers.
Ineligible downfield on the forward pass, number 59. The penalty is refused. Third down.
Steve Gordon, the backup center.
Much has been made about George Seifert and the fact that Bill Walsh has returned, but he has every right to feel secure in what he is doing, because he has done, I think, a remarkable job with this franchise.
Third down and 20. Pressure coming behind Caldwell, who makes the grab, but he's going to be a yard short of the first down at the 35-yard line.
Throws to number 81, Mike Caldwell. Complete. Tackled by number 24, Rashid Gay.
It'll be fourth down.
And Mike Caldwell, one of these guys that is really battling for a spot right now on this roster as a wide receiver. You know they're going to keep Rice. You know they're going to keep Owens, the rookie, and J.J. Stokes, and probably Nate Singleton. So there's one spot remaining as we get ready for this punt snap. The punter's scared at this point.
I do.
Yeah.
I'm scared for him.
Just hope Tommy gets it. There's wobbly.
That was
there.
Fiore, not a bad one. Fair catch called by Chris Hudson. And
he wouldn't get
interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch would be the call here.
Yeah.
Curtis Buckley. That might be described as a look of disbelief. And Jacksonville will retain possession of it.
Well, he kind of got shielded off there by Curtis Buckley. Curtis Buckley ran into the kicker a little bit earlier in this game. They still like him as a special teams player. He's had 2 errors this evening. But they think Curtis Buckley is going to be a very good special teamer. And they need some help with the special teams right now. The 49ers.
Interference with the opportunity to catch the ball. Number 29 of the kicking team. That's a 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
That was Buckley and not Anthony Lynn. 28 instead of 29. So Jacksonville retains possession of the football, and they tack on a few yards. They're out to the 39-yard line, and they have a lead of 7. Mark Brunell is through for the night. He finishes with 8 of 15 for 95 yards and a couple of runs and an injured left hand. Looks like it might be the thumb. No official word yet.
Yeah, so many times quarterbacks bang their hand on the helmets and face masks of defensive linemen, but if it were real serious, I think he would have been inside, get an x-ray.
Trojans in there.
Yeah, Rob Johnson. A guy who, again, they're counting on to be their number 2 quarterback. Rob Johnson had a terrific career at USC. A very, very accurate thrower, but inexperienced. This is an important time for him.
Played in 1 game last year as a 4th-round draft pick. And here's Means trying to cut back inside and is forced in there by Kevin Mitchell, number 55. Kevin Mitchell, who is playing defensively in the spot occupied by Gary Plummer.
Yeah.
Gary's out with a broken hand, but might be back for the starter.
Well, Kevin Mitchell is one of those guys who's lit up camp. I mean, Pete Carroll, the defensive coordinator, was saying, hey, Kevin Mitchell and Merton Hanks have been 2 guys that have really played well. And this guy's a former nose guard in college who's developed into a very fine linebacker in his 3rd year.
2nd down and 8. Michael Cheever is in at center, number 63. This pass complete to Ty Halleck, number 88. And they move the ball out to the 45-yard line. That'll be 3 yards short of the first down. There's Halleck in his 3rd year out of Michigan State. Did not play in 1995.
You know, a year ago, the 49ers didn't know they had a backup that could win consistently. That was answered by Elvis Grbac last year. The Jaguars find themselves in the exact same situation with a 2nd-year quarterback in Rob Johnson, who's not played a lot, certainly not started a game in the National Football League. And this is a big question. And that's why in this last part of the 3rd to 4th quarter, it's a very important time for the team and him.
3rd and 2. Rush coming, got him. Antonio Goss, number 98. That is the 5th sack tonight.
Yeah, and he comes absolutely cleanly, does Goss. The guy standing up here right in the end, and there's no tight end, no corner, no tackle there. And again, either that's got to be a hot receiver or somebody, a back or a tight end or somebody missed an assignment. You always protect your backside.
Tilsky is in at left tackle now, number 76. Here's the punt and the grab. Ooh. Oh, boy. Loose ball.
Boy. It was Dave Thomas who got the initial hit down there.
Jaguar football.
Again, special teams continue to plague the 49ers. And we mentioned it early in the first half, Vern. Even in their championship years, they didn't particularly have great special teams. And Dexter Carter takes that initial hit there from Dave Thomas. And then who picked it up there? Reggie Clark.
Reggie Clark with the hit. The 2nd hit. And then I think Dave Thomas
comes back and makes the recovery. So good special teams there for the Jaguars. And the 49ers have had a tough night at it.
2nd turnover for the 49ers tonight. And Jacksonville has it at the 11. Here's Johnson. Means dances left out of the tackle and works his way down the sidelines, and a flag is thrown.
Yeah.
Late hit. Could be defined as a salmon run. Number 30. As in Mike Salmon.
Personal foul for a late hit out of bounds. Number 30 will go half the distance to the goal from the spot where he went out of bounds. Automatic first down.
Yeah, the first hit won by, I think it was Goss, was not. But when 30 came in, that's Salmon. He was clearly out of bounds and an easy call for the officials. Yeah, and the 49ers have played poorly, as we said, on special teams. And once they've gotten down here, they have not played great inside the 5 defense either. So, again, a good test for the 49er defense.
First and goal, Jacksonville at the 4. Johnson loads it up to the left side. Dead ball foul, bring it back. And the report from the Jacksonville bench is encouraging concerning the status of Mark Brunell.
Offense, number 88, prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That's Ty Halleck. Bruised hand, left hand for Mark Brunell.
It was passing hand. And with that big old thing in there, you don't want him asking for change right now. That could be a big, that big old thing.
He won't be assisting in surgery later on.
First and goal at the San Francisco 9.
Just a bruise. Yeah, you tend to forget the left hand. That's well, it's not his passing. Oh, yes, it is. After the penalty, Willie Jackson in motion. Johnson got a man open at the goal line. Down at the 1, Jimmy Smith.
If you give Rob Johnson time, he's got a very strong arm and he throws darts. You know, they say that about left-handers. Left-handers throw real accurate passes. Well, Rob Johnson's a right-hander, but he had a very accurate career in college. Kevin Gilbride, the offensive coordinator, was saying to us again, give him some time and he's going to throw some passes right into the numbers.
Well, they've challenged it now, a scoring play at the goal line. So there's the flag. This is Tom Coughlin who threw the flag out and asked for a review. 3 challenges per half.
Per team.
Per team, right.
And, you know, this is an experiment. It's good Tom threw the red flag. And he's wondering whether did the ball cross the plane? Didn't really look like it from that particular angle, but we'll take another look at it.
How about the right knee?
Okay. The right knee is... Left knee's down. Where's the ball?
Knee.
Yeah, left knee was down.
Yeah.
The ball did not cross the plane when the left knee was down, so it should not be a touchdown.
Left knee is. That's what I meant.
There you go. You get right and left all messed up now.
I do.
Yeah. Jimmy Smith, knees down. Yeah, that is not a touchdown. Left knee was down, and the ball had not crossed the big old white plane there that circles the globe.
My difficulties with right and left may have had something to do with my less than stellar success in the military.
Really? Tell me about that. What happened? What happened there? Is there a story there? Or?
No, not at all.
I thought you were leading me somewhere.
I'm slithering. I'm trying to go from a tadpole to a frog. Here's Natron Means looking on. Well, 3 appeals per half per team, Pat.
Yeah. And the reviewable plays, this one was one of the end zone. All questions of whether a player scores. That's what this is all about. Sideline plays, the Bill Cowher rule, number of players. And in this particular version, 3 different versions of the instant replay. A minute and a half allowed once the referee puts the headsets on and has communication with upstairs. And Larry's not... He had him off there just for a second, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. He was gathering himself. Last time he had stumbled a little bit, didn't he?
After further review...
Yeah. No.
Larry.
Remember?
Larry. We were banking on you, bud.
He had the first part right.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had the first part right.
Got the first part.
The last time he didn't get the first part right.
Okay. After further review, comma.
Yeah.
After the review, the play stands as called on the field. The ball was short of the goal line as the player was touched.
Well, the important thing is the right call was made.
Absolutely.
I mean, the call stood. There was not a touchdown.
Second and goal, the Jaguars.
Well, when Larry kind of stumbled there a little bit, it was kind of like special teams there, wasn't it, George?
Well, second down and a foot. Fumble.
That's another thing we've seen a lot of this preseason is fumbles by offensive teams, and Tom Coughlin can't believe it. You know, inside the 5-yard line. And that was a good snap. Ordinarily, it happens in the exchange between the center and the quarterback. That was a good exchange. Rob Johnson just lost the handle.
Michael Cheever is in at center. There wasn't a problem there. And they're back at the 6-yard line.
And now it becomes a passing down.
Chris Doring, the outstanding player from Florida, is in for the first time tonight. Johnson back. How about that? Touchdown.
I tell you, some franchises, it just seems to work when the quarterback scrambles, doesn't it? You can't say it's genetic. They're not related to one another. But Rob Johnson does a very good Mark Brunell impersonation, or a Steve Young. He's right-handed. He doesn't wear number 8, and he's not noted as a scrambler. But there he gets in with a little assist from Michael Cheever, his teammate.
It's the magic of that number 11. Coughlin, Johnson, and here's Mike Hollis with the extra point.
This has been the fun part of the evening, watching the snaps and the kicks.
Good one this time, and the extra point is up and good.
Well, Rob Johnson gets his first touchdown of his career, albeit a preseason game. Did the right thing. Didn't force the ball. And he did get a little, just a pinch of a nudge there by Michael Cheever, number 63 is center. Watch Cheever, number 63, come up behind him. Get in there. Get in there. Now here you go.
He did.
Well done, Michael.
Rob Johnson gets the touchdown, and the lead is increased to 14 points. A 6-yard touchdown run.
And Rob Johnson is going to be an important man because, Vern, you and I both know the health of these quarterbacks. Only the Bears, Eric Kramer, took every snap last year. So somewhere along the line, Rob Johnson is going to have to play in the regular season. And those kind of moments, even though it's a preseason game, we understand that. Just getting the confidence, the feel of playing again. It was like last year he took the year off. So that's important. But these backup quarterbacks, I'm so surprised at the inexperience around the NFL. But that was a good play by Johnson.
Rob Johnson, another whose dad was a very successful high school coach in the Orange County area. Mark Brunell's dad was a coach.
Yep.
24-10, 1:14 to go, third quarter. Thomas and Pitts are the deep men. This would be Thomas, number 89. Good special teams tackle at the 15. Ryan Christopherson, number 36.
You know, Vernon, I think of all the things we've been talking about Jerry Rice and try to build a case. Debatable. We understand that as the best player of all time, at least in my opinion. This is the most amazing to me. He's only touched the ball on average during his career, during his 11 years previous to this, 5.9 times a game. And he's had 156 touchdowns. Look at some of the greats. Jim Brown carried about 15 times a game. Peyton, 23. Emmitt Smith with 100 touchdowns 25 times a game. But 156 touchdowns when you only average less than 6.
New quarterback in, Gino Torretta. Important night for him. Suffered a concussion against Denver when hit by John Mobley, the middle linebacker, in the first game. Trying to catch on now in a battle for the third string spot with Jeff Brom. And Gino Torretta is going to get a look here tonight.
And you're right. This is an important moment for Gino Torretta. You know, he was supposed to play a lot a couple of games ago and got hurt.
Number 97 of the defensive team. That's a 5-yard penalty. Automatic first down. Hey, no.
And talking about Gino Torretta, Gino was knocked out of a game a couple of weeks ago. He realizes the import of this opportunity for him because as we've talked about, Jeff Brom, the other quarterback battling for that third spot, has played very well this preseason.
Ball at the 17. And a dead ball foul.
Cut coming up Tuesday. Important 47 seconds in the remaining 15 minutes for some guys who want to make a career of this game, including that guy, Gino Torretta.
66 offense prior to the snap. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
Eugene Chung has had a less than stellar couple of weeks.
Yeah. They gave up, what, 2 or 3 sacks last week to San Diego.
Now, as we were saying, Torretta was injured actually in the first series against Denver, and then did not get to play in the second game. And in the meantime, Jeff Brom played very well, and particularly last week, leading the team to the tying touchdown. Torretta across the middle, down at the 15-yard line. And another flag back at the 6.
Now do you think they look like intramural games at the Ivy League?
Yes.
Right about this time. George Seifert, we talk about getting respect, and I guess guys like Harry Truman and Amadeus Mozart weren't respected until they had left their respective professions.
Mozart.
Yeah. And Harry Truman.
Proud of it.
Look at the umpire.
Yep.
Get out of the way. Ed Kukart. I tell you, number 71 right there, Ed Kukart, the umpire. And those guys have a tough job. When officials get hurt, it's usually the umpire because they're right in the middle of all the traffic.
Saw Art Demis in the game last night that actually, I think it was the same play that Emmitt Smith was hurt on, that Demis went down. He's okay as far as we know. And after the penalty, it's still first down. Sean Manuel, number 48. Rasheed Gale, who's one of those who's fighting for a roster spot for Jacksonville. Well, we have reached the end of 3 on a warm, muggy night here in the state of Florida. The 49ers find themselves down by 14. Welcome back to Jacksonville. The start of the 4th. Vern Lundquist, Pat Hayden. Jacksonville leading the 49ers 24-10 at a second down and 16 for the San Francisco 49ers. Elvis Grbac playing now at Gino Torretta, I beg your pardon. Grbac is done for the night, as is Steve Young. And here is Gino Torretta. Play fake into the flat right side. Caught by Manuel, number 48, out to the 15-yard line.
Well, Mark Trestman was talking about Gino Torretta to us earlier this week, Vern, and he said, you know, this guy, he admitted it's an important game for Torretta, but said, hey, the guy had a great career at Miami right down the road, but he's got as strong as arm as anybody on our team. There's Mark Trestman. He said this is where it's got to have to happen for him. This 4th quarter will decide whether he's going to be able to make this roster or not. So there's some pressure right now on Torretta.
3rd down and 12. Sack. 4th down.
I'll tell you one thing Tom Coughlin is going to be happy about is the pressure that his team, his first and second team, that time Paul Fraze get the sack, have put on the San Francisco 49er quarterbacks. The 4th sack of the evening. One of the things coming in this training camp they wanted to do was get after the quarterback. Only 17 sacks a year ago, and when they haven't gotten to him, they put pressure on him.
Now the adventure continues. Here's Thompson.
Give him a mitt.
By the standards established this evening, not a bad snap. Here's Chris Hudson. Fumble.
I thought he went down.
I did too.
I thought he was down with a knee way before that fumble. Way before that fumble. And now they are marking it there. Yeah. Well, it was kind of a funny thing because he fumbles the ball, but first he goes down on his knee there, and they allow the play to continue. He fumbles it, but then they bring the ball back. They got the correct call.
13:32 remaining in this one. Jacksonville Municipal Stadium on the banks of the St. Johns River, not too far from the Atlantic Ocean, and the team from the left coast has come east and finds themselves trailing by 14 points.
Hey, speaking of the St. Johns River, Vern.
Yes?
It is one of 3 rivers in the northern hemisphere that travel north. Might you name the other 2?
I thought I smelled a confluence coming on there. No?
Okay.
3 rivers that anywhere near Pittsburgh? Here's Rob Johnson. Oh, man, Randy Jordan.
No, the St. John's right here.
Okay.
Jacksonville flows north.
Flows north.
Northern hemisphere. 2 others.
And they've got to be in North America?
No, northern
I got
hemisphere.
a candidate. I mean,
northern hemisphere. I'll give you one.
The Nile.
There you go.
Well,
that's one of them.
That's
the top
Buffalo.
third is the northern hemisphere.
Okay.
And the third that travels north?
Did you learn this at Oxford?
Oh, my philosophy exam. The Ob in Siberia.
The Ob?
Yeah. OB.
Harris Barton told me that. He went trout fishing in Siberia. Talk about exotic vacations. Pass is incomplete at the Ob?
Yes.
How do you spell that?
I believe it's OB.
It better be.
Yeah, well, it's close. But, hey, listen, you got 2 of the 3. I'm proud of you. Very proud of you. Spent a bunch of time on the Nile.
I would have known the Nile. The St. John's had me thrown. That was a shocker. Here's Kevin Gilbride.
Kevin Gilbride, another, we talk about fathers who are coaches. Kevin Gilbride's father was a high school football coach. So was Dick Geron, the defensive coordinator. His father was a high school football coach. It's a family business.
Tackle made back at the 40-yard line. Randy Jordan. Gilbride was talking about his decision to go into coaching. He took a graduate assistantship job. Now, he was born and raised in the Northeast. And his first job was as a grad assistant at Idaho State in Pocatello. Those of us who live in the West appreciate Pocatello. Kevin said it was a little bit of culture shock.
He's a head coach at Southern Connecticut when he was 28 years old. Had some pretty good teams.
4th down.
That was a good snap here.
Yep. Good punt. Well, relative. Here comes the search for. Here comes the search for the Holy
marker.
Grail. Yeah, where is it?
There you go.
Right here, right here, right here.
See, he's looking at the referee.
Close.
He's lining up. There they go. There, they lined it up. And that's our guy.
He's almost on the banks of the Ob.
Good job, Howard.
Well, we chatted earlier about how precise the science is of spotting out-of-bounds punts. Watch this, Pat.
Howard Slavin, number 29, the side judge. Gets a little help from Dexter Carter. Dexter Carter, he didn't believe Dexter either, did he?
Well,
right past Dexter's mark.
More help from Jimmy Hatter.
The orange sleeves.
Yeah, orange sleeves. Jimmy had it right.
Yeah, he did. He had it marked perfect.
Oh, pop quiz, and he got it. Handoff behind the line of scrimmage to Chad Fan. He was an H-back for a couple of years down the Cardinals. Oh, Mayfield went for the knockout there.
Led by number 91, Paul Fraze.
Paul Fraze, a part of it. There's Mayfield. Corey Mayfield, number 98.
You know, this Jaguar team plays in the AFC Central. I think a division that is as improved as any in the NFL, Vern. I mean, you think the Bengals are coming. I think the Bengals will be pretty good. I think the Oilers are going to be pretty good. Still, they have Pittsburgh at the top.
Play action. Torretta. Incomplete. Intended for Raynard Rutherford, number 25.
Gino Torretta's pass intended for number 25, Raynard Rutherford. Defended by Reggie Clark. Incomplete. 3rd down and 11.
3rd and 11 for Torretta.
Their own 24-yard line.
And I think if you're a defensive coordinator in this AFC Central, you're in for some tough young quarterbacks. Jeff Blank at Cincinnati, Burnell here.
Which quarterback do you prepare for to open the season in Pittsburgh?
Well, that decision was supposed to be made either today or tomorrow. But I had the sneaking suspicion they were going to name Jim Miller. Not the popular choice necessarily, but that's the feeling I got last week.
3 wide receivers out in the pattern. Torretta vamping as he comes to the right and throws it into the Jacksonville bench. It'll be 4th down.
Gino Torretta's pass intended for Chris Thomas. Defended by Dana Hall. Incomplete. 4th down, 11.
Well, we hope it's a punt coming up.
We've had a few of them tonight. And George looks bemused.
Chris Hudson back for the Jaguars.
Well, I mean, he hit some real concerns with that offensive line. Again, 2 weeks away from the opener. They host New Orleans. Oh, man. Look,
Fiore with the punt, almost blocked again.
Poor George Stewart. The new special teams coach.
That one comes to a stop at the 46-yard line.
It's amazing.
There's George. Well, the NFL on TNT will kick off its regular season coverage Sunday, September 1st at 8 o'clock Eastern Time. We'll be in the Meadowlands when the Buffalo Bills take on the New York Giants. That's 2 weeks from tonight. The NFL on TNT, 8 o'clock Eastern. Here's the snap, Pat.
Again, I think they need to give Tommy Thompson a kind of a catcher's mitt more than anything else. And I've never seen anything like it this many times in a professional game, to be perfectly honest.
1st down, Johnson, play action. Wants a bunch and goes deep left side for Jimmy Smith. Oh, boy.
Great adjustment by Jimmy Smith. And, you know, everybody talks about Andre Rice and Keenan McCardle, but Kevin Gilbride says Jimmy Smith has a chance to be a starting receiver for them. Big cushion for number 82, Jimmy Smith. And I tell you, that's some pretty good speed, and then really a good adjustment there against Anthony Pryor. Ball thrown outside away from the defender. 42-yard gain. And if you're making a statement that, hey, you deserve to be a starter, that's the kind of play you want to make.
42-yard gain and a 1st down at the 12. Here's the handoff left side. And they cut it back inside. Randy Jordan. Touchdown. A little too high to do the Green Bay Packers stunt here.
Either that, he needs some better jumpers.
They can put trampolines in the corner.
A nice thought, though. Those are 2 good plays, and Tom has something that he should be smiling about, and so should she. Set up by a remarkable adjustment by Jimmy Smith, and a good run there by Randy Jordan.
Jordan, the 3rd-year man from North Carolina, and Jimmy Smith, the 4th-year man, hobbled by injuries during his career in Dallas, and trying to make a comeback and doing so. A quick strike, 54 yards, 2 plays. Less than a minute, bad snap there. And Brian Barker's best efforts tonight have come from grabbing wildly flung centers and putting them down.
Well, you follow big old Greg Huntington, all 302 pounds of him, into the end zone, shake a couple of tacklers, and you raise the score to 31.
Jaguars extend their lead to 21 points over the 49ers in quest of their first preseason win of 1996, and Mike Hollis getting ready to kick off. Crowd tonight, 67,858. They sold 73,000 seats, but a few folks opted to stay home. Mike Hollis. You ever kick off?
No, and never returned a kick either. Proud to say.
Thomas. Did you ever cover kicks?
No. And a couple more flags and a kickoff.
You weren't a special teamer?
No, I didn't play one play of defense or special teams. I was known as a specialist.
Highly paid specialist.
Holding. During the return, number 48, 10-yard penalty. from the end of the run.
I don't know which has
first
been
down.
which has been more exciting, the flags on kickoffs or the snaps on
Plus.
kicking situations.
You know, we've been developing this theme about Jerry Rice being the best player of all time at any position. And one of the things you measure is how well you play in the big games. He's played in 3 Super Bowls. He's averaged over 9 receptions of those games, over 170 yards, and you see how many touchdowns he's averaged in those games. Caught 3 in those last 2. MVP of Super Bowl 23. Absolutely astounding. And Vern, I don't think there's a player in the league, and we talk to players every week, that has more respect from his peers and his opponents than that man, Jerry Rice. And I'm talking about all the quarterbacks in the league and all the running backs. I don't think there's anybody that has as much respect as that guy.
And the refrain one hears over and over again is the equation of work ethic to result.
Absolutely.
You know, you begin with a wonderful talent, but then when you combine the other ingredients, you come out with the Jerry Rice. 1st and 15. Torretta back into the flat. Incomplete. Intended for Chad Fan. Dana Hall was defending. 10:09 remaining in this one.
San Francisco, by the way, has 17 penalties this evening. Now, mind you, we have a little over 10 minutes to go here in this 4th quarter.
We may set a new outdoor record. 117 yards. Oof. Adding to the allure of this whole evening. Gee whiz. And you know, they played an ugly football game last week.
Yeah. I mean, there's that fine balance between not wanting to get guys hurt, but playing your starters long enough that you feel good about the upcoming season. They host the New Orleans Saints, I think an improved New Orleans Saint team, September 1st.
49ers call timeout. Torretta will come over to the near sideline. That's Matt Cavanaugh, former quarterback who's now part of the staff. That's the back of Matt Cavanaugh. That's Gino Torretta on the left. Just to make sure you understand that I know the difference. 49ers open against New Orleans and St. Louis at home, and then they've got a very early bye.
And then they continue with the NFC West, though. Now mindful of the fact that of their 5 losses last year, I think 3 of them, Vern, were in the NFC West. They lost to Carolina once, to Atlanta, and to New Orleans, I believe. So they want to very much get off to that fast start and knock out the rest of the division. But with all the offensive line problems and the special teams problems, they got a lot of work to do the next 2 weeks.
31-10 after the timeout. Well, it was 31-10 before the timeout, actually. Here's Sean Manuel, number 48.
Well, and San Francisco has some big question marks, too, with the potential that Emmitt Smith might not be available for their opener as well. And Green Bay, we saw them a week ago. They seem healthy and in tune, an offensive team.
Well, many of the Jaguar fans think this one, and I think they're safe in assuming so, that this one's in the win column.
You know, some questions I think were answered. I mean, could they stay with a good football team? And they did in the first half when the regulars were in. And then secondly, could they put pressure on the quarterback? And they have here tonight. 4 sacks.
Torretta across the middle for Caldwell, intercepted. Picked off by Darren Studstill, number 30.
Oh boy, then he got drilled. I tell you, Gino Torretta does have a strong arm, and he has a lot of confidence in there because he tried to squeeze a ball in there into very tight space, and it ended up getting picked off a deflection by Darren Studstill, number 30, trying to hit the tight end or the guy right in the seam. Wasn't a seam tight end; it was Caldwell. 3 guys around. You probably want to go somewhere else with the ball. And then Studstill just gets drilled when he gets up here.
Caldwell got a pretty good pop at him, and Chad Fan helped out. At the 40-yard line, Randy Jordan. Flag is down. This one will come back.
Ball carrier, number 23, Randy Jordan.
Holding. 88 offense. 10-yard penalty. Still first down.
Ty Halleck, number 88. And that one will come back. Wipes out a 12-yard run. Jacksonville.
First and 20. The Jaguars.
Total offense 209 now for Jacksonville. 207 for the 49ers. We've got 187 yards and penalties. First and 20. And Jordan at right tackle to the 45-yard line.
The ball carrier, number 23.
8:40 remaining in this one. Now, while we've got a moment, I think Pat and I just want to pass on our condolences to the family of Tom Mees, the outstanding ESPN sportscaster who drowned accidentally earlier this week. Neither one of us knew Tom, but we both respected his work for the many, many years of service that he gave to ESPN, one of the original anchors at that outstanding network. And our thoughts go to the family and all the members of ESPN. Second down. Johnson back right side. Catch is made. Reggie Barlow, 4th-round draft pick.
Now, Reggie Barlow, Vern, is one of those guys that they are hoping that can really help them. Top of the screen, number 7 is Reggie Barlow. Now, last year, they didn't have a lot of depth at wide receiver. But in this offseason, they drafted guys like Reggie Barlow on the 4th round at Alabama State, and they bring in Andre Rison and Keenan McCardle as free agents, and that position has really been upgraded.
First down and 10 after the 16-yard gain. Jordan comes left and plunges down to the 22-yard line.
Johnson hands off to number 23, Randy Jordan.
Here's Andre Rison. He's one of the keys this year offensively, Vern, I think, for this team. If they can get his talent, makes them a much more dangerous offensive team, as long as you don't get the other stuff from them, the things that can hurt your team.
Well, and his reputation has been that he's a guy who's had problems off the field. In one year in Atlanta, supposedly missed 19 team meetings. Mark Brunell said to us yesterday, listen to me, he hasn't missed a team meeting yet.
He's done all that's been asked thus far.
That one is complete inside the 5 to the 3. Willie Jackson.
So that's a heck of a throw there by Rob Johnson.
Ty Halleck.
Ty Halleck, the tight end. And Rob Johnson, a big guy gets out in the perimeter of the defense. Halleck makes himself known by waving his arms. Again, it's not hard to miss him when you're that open and that big. And that's a pretty good shot there by Rob Johnson and rolling out to his left.
Saw number 30 making the run for the tackle. Mike Salmon. First and goal. Here's the highlight of the night. Oh, another flag.
Delay a game. Offense, 5-yard penalty.
You expect some penalties in the preseason, Vern, but this is ridiculous. This is the 3rd preseason game for these teams. San Francisco has 7 penalties.
17.
Excuse me, 17. You're right. And the Jaguars now have 7. And that's a total of how many then?
No, wait. I got to take my shoes off.
That's 24. That's 24 penalties. And
are they running north?
All 3 of them run north.
Oh, first and goal. Jordan bounces it to the outside and out of a tackle, but into trouble.
Hey, Randy Jordan's looked pretty good, though. That's the 3rd time he's bounced to play outside, and looked like he may have been. He was.
Oh boy.
Second and goal, Jacksonville.
Saying that Randy Jordan struggling and fighting to make this team. He knows it, giving it everything that he has, and he's had a couple of very fine runs here in this 4th quarter. That time bouncing to the outside with some speed. Kind of a situational player for him in the past.
Hamstring?
That's what it looked like.
Randy Jordan, 3rd-year man from North Carolina.
Speaking of running backs from North Carolina, you know they have more 1,000-yard rushers than any other college in the land. Were you aware of that?
No, I was not.
Just another little tidbit for your next cocktail party, Vern. Along with the those rivers in the northern hemisphere that run north.
Are you not going to list them? How many?
You know, I don't know. I just know they have more than anybody else.
Terrific.
Just trying to help you out, Vern.
Yeah, now maybe a knee. Yeah. Roger Graham comes in. Boselli on the first pass play of the night. Tony Boselli. Jeff Novak a couple plays after that.
And here it's number 71, the first guy that went down. Boselli, the left tackle, as you mentioned, the first pass play. And then 67 in the middle of your screen there. Novak gets his legs rolled up upon it. He went out of the ball game. And Jordan, it looks like it's left knee. Yeah, he just gets a lot of pressure, a lot of weight put on top of that left knee. And Vinnie Clark went off. They have been damaged in the injury department.
Yeah, it's been a game of attrition. Sure has. And Jordan is the latest now. Lachey Maston and Graham. Roger Graham, a first-year man from New Haven. Sat out last year. Second down and goal from the 3 as we near the 5:45 mark of this ball game.
Come on.
I think the 49ers have called time.
Well, you know, we talked about the AFC Central. Look at the NFC West that George Seiferd's team will face. And I think the 49ers have gotten better on defense. There's big questions on offense that we've talked about, running game injuries in the offensive line. In that division, there's some teams creeping up to it. As I talked about before, I think New Orleans is going to be a little bit better. Atlanta, a playoff team a year ago. So it's important for these 49ers who've won the West 4 straight times to get off to a good start.
Coors Light Pro Football Tonight preview show comes your way next Sunday on TNT. Vince Cellini will be the host. You're going to preview the upcoming season. You'll hear from number 4, Brett Favre of the Packers. And this guy, Dolphins head coach Jimmy Johnson. Much more. The Coors Light Pro Football Tonight preview, Sunday night, 8 o'clock, only on TNT. Second down and goal. Pete Mitchell in motion, number 83. The toss goes to Graham, and he's hit behind the line. It'll be third down. Roger Graham.
Again, with 5.5 minutes left in the ball game, you know, think about San Francisco 49ers. Same with the Jaguars. These guys getting their last 4 or 5 minutes before that first cut. And that was a good defensive play there. And for Rob Johnson, this is the opportunity to say, hey, I put some points on the board. So when he gets his opportunity in the year, at least he can reflect back on the last time he touched the ball when it really counted. And you did something positive.
Rob Johnson has a touchdown tonight on a quarterback scramble of 6 yards. We're nearing 5 minutes remaining in this one. 31-10, third down. Handoff. Graham, touchdown. Roger Graham.
That was a pretty good dart. I mean, Roger Graham took it up in there with some speed and some power.
Had a purpose.
Yeah.
Nice run.
He was hustling. He was.
Mike Hollis will try and tack on the extra point. Dave Wydell with the snap.
And Roger Graham followed a pretty good block by number 78, his left guard. That's Greg Huntington. He just kind of seals his guy inside. Roger Graham runs over the last player, and the result is a 4-yard touchdown run and the Jaguars' 37th point.
Well, Brian Barker has had a very busy night, and he is at the point of exasperation. Watch Barker after the last snap.
You know, he can't believe, I can't either, Vern. There's been a bunch of bad snaps by both teams.
Dave Wydell, who is a regular snapper. Wydell's not got the body of a weightlifter, right? He allowed himself to be entered in a contest for a local radio station here. Name the Belly.
Yeah.
One of the losing efforts was my favorite. Buttress Belly.
What one?
I can't remember. It was running north. Here's Thomas, number 89.
Buttress. I like that.
Some of them, yeah, there you go. The Naval Destroyer was the winner.
Oh, that's I mean, the Buttress Belly is much better.
Much better.
Yeah.
Gives you a sense of geopolitics,
yeah,
right?
I like that.
A sense of an awareness of what's going on in the world. Wydell has it. As well as a Buttress Belly.
I'll tell you, when he gets that stuff moving in the right direction, though, he gets that momentum going.
Hey, Cersei will talk about it right next to him. Leon's got a set of pipes.
Pretty good yeah, he does. Pretty good offensive line if they can keep people healthy.
Gino Torretta. Raynard Rutherford.
Gino Torretta, another one of those Heisman Trophy winners that primarily the quarterbacks that have kind of suffered in the professional ranks. And you know, the Heisman Trophy really is for the best college player that year. He won it. You know, but a lot of guys in the pros, Andre Ware had a tough time in the pros recently.
Well, and you know, he wasn't given a lot of respect in the draft as a 7th round draft pick. Jacksonville leads at 38-10. Torretta, the quarterback, hands it inside to Rutherford, who we were assured would not play at all tonight. Coming up after the game on the Steel Postgame Show, Vince Cellini, Mark May, and Norman Chad will be joined by Jerry Rice and Steve Young of the 49ers. Also, Mark Brunell and Andre Rison. There's the dynamic duo, Steve Young, Jerry Rice.
You know, there was some tension between those two early in their career when Young was playing, because Jerry Rice felt that Steve was kind of running a little too quickly and wasn't hanging in there with him long enough. They certainly have gotten that straightened out over the years.
Now they have connected on more than a couple of touchdowns. Charles Davenport with that catch. The number 2 touchdown connection of all time behind Marino and Clayton.
Rice is in the top 7 twice, right?
Yeah. And then Marino's in there twice with Clayton and Duper. How about Hadel and Allworth are still there?
Wow.
Had a guy in an elevator last week in Green Bay identify my partner as Pat Hadel.
Right, at least. I've been called a lot worse.
By the way, here's the run around the left side. Among those quarterbacks who have thrown touchdowns to Jerry Rice, a vice presidential nominee's son, Jeff Kemp.
Jeff Kemp.
Yes.
As a matter of fact, at one point, Jeff Kemp had thrown more passes, touchdown passes, to Jerry Rice than Joe Montana. And as another note on that, as long as you're bringing it up, you know, since he's been nominated as the vice president, Mr. Kemp, his football card went up in value, $150.
Yeah.
Could you imagine that? Went from $200 to $350.
Well, if it went from $5 to $155, you know, where are we here? And yours?
Mine went down again. Mine's worth about $1.50 if I sign it.
Thompson, as in Mike Thompson, second-year man from Wisconsin and a 4th-round draft pick. That's 5 sacks tonight for a team that had only 17
a year ago. And even when they aren't sacking the quarterback, Vern, they've been putting pressure on him. So Tom Coughlin has to be happy about that part of this team.
Sunday Night Football on TNT, and there's an example of that's a well thought out sign.
Yeah, I mean, you know, even though they misspelled Wydell's name, but, you know, to get on TV on TNT, you have to have an original sign. If you do something like this, you generally don't get on. I mean, there's not a lot of imagination there.
No, I mean, it's got to be homegrown.
Yep.
Homegrown potatoes.
Absolutely, and you really got to put some thought into it, some effort. He wasn't real excited about getting his sign on.
No, and you got to stick around. Second down. Torretta Oh, dear.
Ouch.
6 sacks. Cornell Thomas.
You know, as I watch these guys who make sacks go through their histrionics, one of the other things I like about Jerry Rice is he never embarrasses an opponent. And although this is indeed a good play by Cornell Thomas, then he goes through his gyrations. Look at that, worst in the NFL, 6 sacks on the evening. And oh, do they wish this were their opening game. They got Pittsburgh at their opener, I believe, which will really be an interesting one for him.
Final 85 seconds. Handoff up the middle to Raynard Rutherford.
And speaking of Pittsburgh, again, they'll name that starting quarterback, well, probably tomorrow. But if they come in, and if Cordell Stewart is Tom Coughlin's opponent at quarterback over there, that's going to be an interesting game with Cordell Stewart running around, Mark Brunell running around. You got Jeff Blake in that conference.
Final 55 seconds now, and of course the cut comes down to 60 on Tuesday. Here's the punt.
We don't have any more games, preseason games after this, though, do we?
No, which means that you and I have accomplished one of our goals for the night. We have made it to the point with 41 seconds left in this game with neither one of us referring to on the bubble.
There you go. I like it. There's the roster dates. Cut down to 60 on Tuesday, August 25th. Down to 53. And then September 1st, opening day for most of us. We'll be in New York.
In Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Well, actually, we'll be in Secaucus. Yeah. Or close by Secaucus. Elvis Grbac is back in it. Oh, no, Steve Tannehill. Beg your pardon. Steve Tannehill, who had a well-publicized career at South Carolina. And then, I think surprisingly, went undrafted. And I don't think his chances of sticking around here are really good.
Well, you know, it's been surprising how many times people are wrong on quarterbacks, though. Or, you know, you draft him high, or Elvis Grbac was an 8th-round draft pick, and he ended up having a super year a year ago.
Yeah, Steve, he is a refreshing, bubbly personality. We got to know him a little bit at the Senior Bowl this year, and one wonders what his career in pro sports is, if not here, maybe somewhere else. This one's in the books. It wasn't pretty, but it's a Jaguar win. 38-10 is the final.